and so make America sick again? Is that what the Republicans want to do? I certainly hope not. You want grandma living in the guest room? You repeal the Affordable Care Act.
Nothing like a few threats to put the fear of God in people who didn't vote for you to begin with. All right, can Obama save Obamacare with his catchy new saying, make America sick again? Here to discuss, fairtax.org board member and all-around good guy, Autry Pruitt. Autry, good to see you.
Thank you so much for having me. Great to see you as well.
Happy New Year to you. Now, what do you think of this new plan to save Obamacare? Obviously, I predicted this on Fox. I said this is going to be a marketing campaign. This has nothing to do with the facts, though, because Nancy Pelosi would have you believe that this loss of Obamacare would mean a loss of funding for health care. But actually, health care, only about 50% of what people actually pay into it actually goes to any form of health care. The rest of it goes to the bureaucracy. We know this. Is she pulling the wool over the eyes of the Americans?
I think not only is she pulling the wool, but go back to her famous saying, you'll know what it is when you read it.
Right, right.
I mean, she doesn't know what's in the bill. Let's all concede right now that Nancy Pelosi just has no clue whatsoever as to what's in Obamacare. She has no clue that the Medicaid provision, which is what most of the 20 million people that were uncovered, they're covered now through an expansion of Medicaid. She has no clue about that. She has no clue that Obamacare has been failing from the day it opened up with the failed website. They're talking about saving Obamacare as if it had done something. It did nothing but raise premiums.
Yeah, and in some cases, even up and above 25%, those premiums have increased. And this is all really to pay for what is a bureaucracy that is really not in the purview of the feds to begin with. So I get nervous personally when I start hearing people that I think understand sound economic policy, like some in the GOP, talking about the replace part. What do you believe is on the minds of the GOP when they talk not about the repeal part, we get that, but about the replace part? What are they going to replace it with? Because I don't know what the feds need to do besides get the heck out of the way.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. I think, one, you have some GOP that want to get out of the way, and you have other grand big thinkers like Paul Ryan who want to implement their own quote unquote conservative version of Obamacare so they can take credit for 20 million or 22 million people getting on the healthcare rolls. The bottom line is, if you look, the number one reason, you are absolutely right, Dr. Gina, why we should get out of healthcare is because every single government program that started with good intentions, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, has ballooned us to debt and deficits that we cannot sustain. If we keep Obamacare, even if they come up with some magical fix, it doesn't ensure that the 116th, 17th, 18th, and 19th Congresses and presidents past Donald Trump are going to do anything to keep it stable. There's going to be more, but once you open up this Pandora's box of giving out benefits and subsidies, it just keeps growing and growing and growing.
Well, and there's no getting around the fact that it's government control, which is a friend of Paul Ryan's. He likes to control things. He's very much a part of the establishment. But let's not forget the money coming out of the monopolies that get all of these funds. We are talking about, really, this loose number here is around $2 trillion, if my math is right, that would go back to the American people if we were in a free market system, which, by the way, is enough to pay for all of the needy who need health care, and it's enough to put a nest egg for retirement in the pocket of every single American family. But we won't discuss that. Let's talk about that $2 trillion and where it really goes. Right now, it goes to the monopolies, the insurance companies, the American Medical Association, and the hospitals, which are all very strong lobbies and give a lot of money to people like Paul Ryan. Isn't this their real motive?
And I believe you're absolutely correct. One of the best ways you can see this is the fact that you have to buy the health insurance, but the AMA got it structured so that doctors don't have to take it.
Right. And the price transparency. How important is this component as we're moving forward with this? I mean, I look at things that are transparent, like LASIK surgery, which I've had done, ironically, 2 times on my eyes, cosmetic procedures. When you go in and you say, I want a nose job, you know what that nose job is going to cost ahead of time. We don't have that kind of transparency anywhere else in medicine. But what that transparency has done is it has brought costs down for consumers, Autry, and it's brought profits up for providers. Why do we not use that model of transparency to make everybody happy?
And not only with that model of transparency, but the one reason why cosmetic surgery also is competitive is because you can cross state borders with it. Imagine if you could only get LASIK surgery done in the state in which you live. Yeah. Prices, like health insurance, would be sky high.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, if you drop those borders down, just like in cosmetic surgery, you can compete in California, Michigan, Alabama, Texas, and get the surgery where you feel most comfortable. It's the same principle. Transparency, being able to have a movable marketplace, that is all things that can be done that returns power to people. And that's not saying don't help those that need help.
Right. So who wins? You know, the Trump practical what works folks faction, or do you think the Paul Ryan establishment monopolies type people, the elite? Who wins?
This is one area where I think Paul Ryan has the edge to win.
Oh, no. Well, we'll have to have you back to break that down when it happens. Thank you so much for being with us. Autry Pruitt, you can find him on Twitter at Autry, A-U-T-R-Y. Back in a moment. Stay where you are.